Hello dear learners, I am Dr. Aasiya Mudasir. In the previous video, we discussed the need for teacher education. Now let's move a step ahead and understand the nature of teacher education. My dear learners, teacher education is not just about teaching teachers what to teach. It's about preparing them how to teach, why to teach, and to shape human lives. It is a continuous process that develops knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values in teachers. Knowledge, this is just the understanding of the subject matter. For example, a math teacher must know formulas and concepts clearly, but knowledge is not enough. The second requirement is the skills. Skills means how to teach. These are the teaching abilities. For example, explaining concepts in simple language using examples and stories, managing the classroom using technology. A teacher may know everything, but without skills, students won't understand. Next thing that a teacher should know is attitudes, how to feel and behave. This is teachers' mindset towards students. For example, patience with the slow learners, positive thinking, openness to questions, and a caring behavior. A teacher's attitude decides whether the students feel comfortable or afraid with him or her. The next thing which the teacher should possess is the values, what you inspire. These are the moral principles a teacher passes on, transfers to one student to another student. For example, honesty, respect, discipline, empathy. Even without teaching directly, students learn value by observing the teacher. In nutshell, knowledge tells a teacher what to teach, skill tells them how to teach, attitudes shape how to treat students, and values define what kind of human being the teacher creates. किस इंसान की वो मानव रचना कर रहे हैं. Now let's learn what is the nature of teacher education composed of. Before diving deep into it, get ready to listen a story. Yes, you got it right. Let Dr. Aasiya tell you a small story. Once upon a time, there was a young girl who was a graduate. उसने graduation किया था. She had excellent knowledge in her subject. She knew all the answers, scored high marks, and was very confident. One day, she entered a classroom as a teacher for the first time. Wow! She started teaching, but within 10 minutes, students got distracted. Some were talking, some were confused, and some simply lost interest. The girl, now a teacher, came home that day and thought, I know my subject well, but why couldn't I teach properly? This is where teacher education begins. Teacher education, as mentioned in the slide, is a continuous process. The first thing of the nature of teacher education, it's a continuous process. From the story, this teacher joined the teacher training program, and soon she realized that learning didn't stop there. Even after becoming a teacher, she kept improving her methods, attending workshops, and learning from experiences. For example, she learned new digital tools like smart boards for online teaching. This is what it means that teacher education is a continuous process. Another thing, second point, is it is dynamic and ever-changing. This teacher from the story noticed that students in her class were very different from her own school days because they used mobiles today. They are using mobiles. They asked more questions and they needed interactive learning. So she changed her style. Instead of only lectures, she started using videos, activities, and discussions. This is what it means that teacher education is dynamic and ever-changing as the demands of the society. Next slide is continued nature of teacher education. Next point is theoretical and practical. It is both the theory and the practice. From the story, in her teaching program, the teacher in her teaching program, that teaching program can be B.Ed, M.Ed, D.Ed or etc. She studied educational psychology and philosophy, educational philosophy, sociology of education, but the real learning happened when she entered the classroom. Knowing child psychology from the training, that is the theory, it helped her to handle a stubborn child in the class, that is the actual practice. Who is a stubborn child? Whenever teacher or mother asks the stubborn child to sit properly, he refuses. नहीं मम्मा मुझे नहीं करना. No teacher, I will not do it. Or if the teacher tells him to complete his work or she or her to complete his work, he says no, I don't want to. मुझे नहीं करना है. तो जो नॉर्मल टीचर होगा या नॉर्मल मदर जिसको चाइल्ड साइकोलॉजी के बारे में पता नहीं होगा, she will either scold the child or they will punish the child. But what the trained teacher will do is, she will or he will say, baby, would you like to finish your work first or draw for 2 minutes and then do it? It will readily work for that child. One important suggestion for the mothers of the toddlers is that they should also know some child psychology, at least informally at home, because mothers are the first teachers of the children. So our topic, this was what it means the teacher education is both the theory and the practice. Now next important point is that it is teacher education is value oriented. Once again from the story, one day a student lied in the class. एक बच्चे ने झूठ बोला उसकी क्लास में. She didn't punish the child. She didn't punish the student harshly. Instead, she explained the importance of honesty. Because she had realized from the training course that a teacher doesn't just teach subjects but also teaches values. So it worked. Next important point of the nature of teacher education is child-centered approach. Let's learn this point also from the narrated story. Earlier, before taking the training, the teacher focused on completing the syllabus. Now, she started focusing on students. She adjusted her teaching for the slow learners because she understood that every child has its own pace to learn things. That means she understood the individual differences of the child, that no two children are equal, no two children, even the identical twins are not equal. So she learned it from the training. Going towards the next point, that teacher education is socially relevant. Her class had children from different backgrounds. Some were confident, some were shy, some facing family issues. She learned to handle the diversity, inclusion, moral values. Encouraging equal participation and respecting the differences is what it means socially relevant. In conclusion, we can say that improving teacher education leads to the better future for the society, and it's all the focus is on holistic development. Now, the closing of the story is that after a few years, she became the most loved and effective teacher, not because she knew everything, but because she learned how to teach. Thus, we can say teacher education is not just about making teachers, it's about transforming ordinary individuals into nation builders. My dear learners, think about your favorite teacher. Maybe you don't remember every lesson they taught, but you remember how they made you feel, how they encouraged you, and what values they gave you. A complete teacher is not just knowledgeable, but skilled, positive in attitude, and rich in values. Let's go back to the story of that girl teacher. She entered the classroom with full knowledge of a subject, but students didn't understand. Then she learned how to teach. That required skills. Slowly she realized that students needed patience and kindness. That required the right attitude. And when she guided them about honesty, respect and discipline, that reflected her values. This was all about the lecture. Now, let's do some net based questions. First is, teacher education primarily aims at first, developing only subject knowledge, only teaching skills, knowledge, skills, attitudes and values, only classroom management. The right answer is C. It is knowledge, skills, attitudes and values as we discussed earlier in the slides. Moving towards next question, which of the following best describes skills in teacher education? Understanding subject content, ability to manage classroom and explain concepts, moral principles of a teacher, emotional attachment with students. The correct answer is B. Ability to manage classroom and explain concepts as we discussed it earlier. Next question, a teacher showing patience towards slow learners reflects knowledge, skill, attitude, or values. It reflects the attitude of the teacher. So the correct answer is C. Now question number 4. The statement teacher education does not end with a degree reflects value orientation, continuity, practical aspects, social relevance. The answer is B, continuity, as we discussed it earlier. So this was all for today. Thank you.